and welcome to Construction Math. Today we're going to be talking about scatter plots. So I want you to think about the last time you read a graph. On your note taker, write down what type of graph it was, write down what the graph told you and what type of graph it was. It could be one you read in a newspaper, a magazine, or something you saw in your math class. Share with your partner and teacher call on non-volunteers. I'll meet you back here in a minute. Welcome back. Today's objectives are, number one is to define terminology. So any word that's in red, please add it to your note taker. Number two, we're going to create a scatter plot. Three, we're going to calculate a line of best fit. And four, we're going to identify the direction, form, strength, and outliers of a scatter plot. All right, so take a look at those objectives and see if any of them make you a little bit nervous, but that we'll be able to get through this together. All right, math check. 3 things I need you to do. First of all, I need you to plot these 2 points on the coordinate plane. I need you to find the slope of the line through the point 2, 1 and -1, -5. And number 3, find the equation of the line through those exact same 2 points. So when you find the slope for number 2, use it for number 3. Teacher, pause the video, have the students work out the problems, have them check with their partners, and then call on non-volunteers. And I'll meet you back here in a minute. Welcome back. Let's go to our slate and let's see what we're going to do here. First of all, the first thing was we needed to do, we needed to graph. So I'm going to draw myself a little XY axis. I know you can probably do a better job than I do. Drawing was never my best thing. All right, first point was the point -3, 0. So we start at the origin. The first number tells us left or right, so it was -3, so we go 3 to the left, and then 0 up or down, so we put a dot right there. There's the first point. The second point was at -1, 3. Again, we start here at the origin. We go 1 left, and then +3 means 3 up, and we put my point. There we go. That's how we graph them. Second one was we need to find the slope of the line between the 2 points 2, -1 and the point -1, -5. First thing you need to do is you need to remember the slope formula. Slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I know it was a long time ago that we did this, but hopefully you'll remember it. So now we're just going to substitute in. This is x from the first point, so that's x sub 1. This is y from the first point, so it's y sub 1. This is x sub 2. This is y sub 2. The subscripts just mean which point it came from. So I always like to put in my parentheses first, and then I'm just going to substitute in the numbers. Y sub 2 was -5. Y sub 1 was -1. X sub 2 was -1. X sub 1 was 2. Now I just have to do the math. Did I get the right signs? Let me make sure that I copied them correctly, and I copied them incorrectly. This guy should be a +1, so I'm just going to fix it. All right, -5 minus 1 is -6. -1 minus 2 is -3. Simplify it, I get 2, so it has a slope of 2. So this is for problem number 2. Problem number 3 said to write the equation for that, so I know y equals mx plus b. Let's fill in what we know. We know the slope is 2. And I get to pick either x or y. I think I'll pick the first one. So I'm going to use the point 2, 1. So y is 2, or I'm sorry, x is 2 when y is 1. I'm going to do the math. 2 times 2 is 4. I'm going to solve it for b. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides to get the b all by itself. 1 minus 4 is -3. Now I have all the information. I know the slope is 2. I know the y-intercept is -3. So the equation of my line is y equals 2x minus 3. We're going to need those 3 skills today to be able to be successful with this lesson. All right, so teacher, pause the video. Students need to go over it again. Welcome back. Let's go back to our PowerPoint and let's check where I did the problems. Oh, I worked them out and I got everyone correct. I'm so happy, even though this is the brand right after the first of the year. Yay. Now, terminology. On your note taker, I want you to fill in the missing words and I want you to complete the vocabulary squares. So a scatter plot is a graph of plotted points that show a relationship between 2 sets of data. A line of best fit is a straight line that best represents the data on a scatter plot. All right, so fill them in, complete your vocabulary squares, share your meaningful sentence with your partner. Teacher, call on non-volunteers, and I'll meet you back here in a minute. Welcome back. All right, the steps to create a scatter plot. First, you're going to take your data and create ordered pairs. All right, ordered pairs. 2, you're going to draw a coordinate plane, an XY axis, with unit marks and labels. And 3, plot the points, but do not connect them. Don't be worried when you do a scatter plot, the points do not always fall in a straight line. All right, so fill in the missing terms, and then just take a second and read them over silently to yourself. All right, let's go on. Now, on your note taker, what I want you to do is summarize the steps in your own words. Teacher, pause the video, have the students do this on their note taker, have them share with their partner, and then call on non-volunteers, and I'll meet you back here in a minute. Welcome back. Here's our first example. We have time in months and the total number of homes constructed, and we're going to learn how to create a scatter plot for this data. So the first thing you need to do on your note taker is fill in the missing values that are in red. That in 1 month they had 7 homes constructed, at the end of 2 months 13, at the end of 3 months 24, at the end of 4 months 26, 5 months 38, 6 months 45. All right, so that's the first thing. Fill it in. Teacher, pause the video if students need more time. Welcome back. Next thing, for step 1 is you take the data and make them into ordered pairs. Remember, ordered pairs means you put the 2 numbers inside parentheses with a comma between them. So add these to your note taker, because we need an ordered pairs in order to be able to graph them. All right, teacher, pause the video if students need the extra time. Welcome back. Next thing I want you to do is I want you to plot those 6 ordered pairs on the graph on your note taker. Teacher, pause the video until students have had a chance to do that. Welcome back. Let's look at how I plotted them. Here's my plots. They're almost in a straight line, but not quite. All right, so we've got the homes built, we've got the months, and we've got the dots. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a line of best fit. So in order to do this, the easiest way is to use a thin line, like a piece of spaghetti or the side of a ruler or a piece of thread or string, so that the plotted points are as close to the line as possible. So you want about the same number of points above and below the line. All right. Then you're going to find 2 points on the line of best fit if possible. Find the slope and the equation of the line. So let's look. Here's where I put my line of best fit. As long as yours is close to mine, that's fine. There's no one absolutely perfect answer. But notice that I've touched the first one and the last point, and there's 2 above and 2 below, and they're about equally spaced. So that's a pretty close line of best fit. All right. So now step 3 is I pick the points. I picked the first and last point. You don't have to. You could pick any of the points, but I wanted 2 that were on the line. And also please remember to put the labels with it, because it'll help to build the meaning of your particular slope. All right. Now, find the slope and find what it tells us about the scatter plot. So teacher, pause the video while students work this on their note taker, and I'll meet you back here in a minute. Welcome back. Let's go to our slate and let's look at our particular values. All right. Here, my first point was I had 1 month, and 1 month matched up with 7 houses built. And I'm just going to abbreviate it with 7 houses. My second point I picked was 6 months. And at 6 months, we had 45 houses built. So again, we're going to use the formula. Slope is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. this being x sub 1 and y sub 1, this x sub 2 and y sub 2. So let's go. Make big parentheses because I've got labels to go. All right, y sub 2 is 45 houses. Y sub 1 is 7 houses. This is 6 months. This is 1 month. Oops, in. All right, so do the math. 45 take away 7 is 38 houses in 5 months. Now, if I divide 5 into 38, I get approximately, this would be about 7.6 houses built per month. And that's okay. We could have part of a house built. We just don't want parts of people. And then the second thing we want us to do, and that's what the slope tells us. All right? So teacher, pause the video. Students need a chance to finish. And I'll meet you back here in a minute. Welcome back. Let's go back to our PowerPoint and see how we did. Oh, every month that passes, 7.6 houses are built. As long as that's the phrase or the gist of what you meant, it's perfect. Okay, now when we're looking at scatter plots and lines of best fit in particular, one, we need to find out the direction. Is it a positive or negative? And that refers to the slope. Is the slope positive or negative? Is the form linear or nonlinear? In other words, is it a straight line or not a straight line? The strength, is it really a pretty weak one, a moderate, or a strong? And are there any outliers? So what you need to do right now is fill in the missing red words, and we'll be ready to get started. All right, direction. If it's positive as you read from left to right, if it goes up, if the graph increases, it's positive. If you read from left to right and it goes down, it's negative. All right. Form. If the lines kind of follow a straight line like in that first graph, then we call it linear. If it doesn't, the second graph kind of starts out linear because it has a positive direction, and then it kind of flips and goes into a negative direction, so that's not. In further math classes, you'll be dealing with what kind of graph that is, but we're not going to do that here. All right, now what I want you to do on your note taker is one of the graphs in the right-hand column has a strong linear form, one moderate, and one weak. Will you draw a line to connect the words with the graph? Teacher, pause the video and have the students compare with their partner. And I'll meet you back here in a minute. Welcome back. Let's see. Strong was the bottom one. It's closest to being a completely straight line. The top one is really weak. Those points are just all over the place. And the middle one is moderate. It has somewhat of a linear form, but not completely. All right. Now, outliers. You might have heard this term before. An outlier is something that is very, very different from all the other sets of data. So look where it is. There's my outlier. It's way away from the other set of data. Some graphs have more than one outlier. Some have none at all. All right, so look at this one. Pause the video, teacher, and have the students find the direction, the form, and the strength, and any outliers if possible. All right, so here we go. You're going to work with your partner to think about it. You're going to work with your partner, and then you're going to share if called upon. So state the direction, form, strength, and any outliers. Teacher, pause the video, call on non-volunteers, and I'll meet you back here in a minute. Welcome back. Let's see, the direction is positive because if I'm moving from left to right, the points all get bigger. The form is linear. The strength is pretty strong, and there's no outliers. How'd you do? All right, let's go on. Here's a U truck. You want to buy a truck for your construction company, and the following are prices you found for the trucks. All right, so we've got the age, and notice the age are in no particular order. Fill in the missing values or prices of the trucks, and I'll meet you back here in a minute. So now what I want you to do is on your note taker, graph these points and be very careful. Work with your partner and make sure that your graphs come out to be very similar. Don't forget to put labels on your axes. And I'll meet you back here in a few minutes. Welcome back. Let's see if your graph matches mine. There's the price of the trucks and the age. It's very similar to a linear function. It's pretty close. It would be moderate to strong. All right. And now we're going to create the line of best fit. So you and your partner work together to create a line of best fit and then draw it in on your graph. Teacher, pause the video until everyone's done this. Welcome back. Here's the one I did. It's pretty much right down the middle. It has about the same number above and below. So now you're going to find the slope for the line of best fit, interpret what it means, and share with your partner. All right, use yours. And I'm going to show you in a few minutes that you just need to be close to my answer. All right, teacher, pause the video, and I'll meet you back here shortly. All right, let's go to our slates. And I picked, oops, let me get back here. Let me get off that. All right, so I picked a 1-year-old truck, and the cost that the truck sold for was $24,988. And again, in my order pairs, I'm putting the labels on so it'll help me define this. And then I picked one at the other end. I picked an 11-year-old truck, and the cost for this truck was $6,950. First thing I'm going to do is find the slope. Again, it's Y2, which is $6,950, minus Y1, which is $24,988, over 11 years, minus 1 year. Let's do the math, and I come out with negative on the top, $18,038 over 10 years. And what that approximately would be, give or take, would be approximately $1,804 per year. I just kind of rounded it off. What does it mean? And this guy was negative, don't forget. And what that means was that every year that passed, the value of the truck went down because it's negative. About $1,804 a year. So the negative means that the value goes down, and it makes sense. As our cars get older, most all cars lose their value. The only thing that would be different if it was a collectible, like a 1969 Mustang or something like that. But most cars lose value. So we had to account for the negative sign. That means that the price went down, and I didn't put the whole letter down. Down. The negative we had to account for the money and the time. We did here. Every year it went down $1,804. Now, as long as your answer is close to mine as far as values, if you came out with $1,700 or $1,900, depending on your point, that's fine. All right. Teacher, pause the video until students have had a chance to add this to their notes. Welcome back. Let's go back to our PowerPoint. All right, there we go. Because the slope is negative, the value decreases approximately $1,800 per year. All right, so you're going to try. You're going to state the form, the direction, the outliers, and the strengths for that graph that we just had. So I'll go back to this graph. This is the one you're going to use, the one that you did on your note taker, and you drew a line of best fit. So tell me the direction, the form, the strength, and the outliers. Teacher, pause the video until students have had a chance to finish. Welcome back. Let's go and see how you did. The strength or the direction was negative. As we went left to right, the values of the Y went down. The form was linear. The strength was pretty strong, and there were no outliers. How'd you do? Hope you did well. Last thing you have to do is on your note taker, do your closure. Teacher gives students 1 minute to write down the key points of today's lesson, and I'll meet you back here again for another math and construction.